Take a look at this couple. They are new immigrants to Canada and they want to buy a car, but they don't know how to buy a car. Do you know how to buy a car in Canada? In this lesson, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about buying a car here in Canada. Now, if you're rich, then probably the easiest thing to do would be to buy a new car. You could just go to a car dealership and choose a nice car that you like, and the people there will help you do all the paperwork to buy the car. Okay, but if you're not rich, like me, then you need to buy a used car. Okay, now some car dealerships also sell used cars. Okay, so look at this dealership. It probably sells some used cars too, but mostly dealerships are for new cars. Okay, so if you want to buy a used car, I think the best way is through a private sale. A private sale. Okay, you just talk to this guy and you buy his car. But how do you find this guy who's selling his car? Where do you look? Well, a great place to look is on this website right here, Kijiji.ca. This is a very popular website in Canada for anything. Are you looking for an apartment to live in? Go on Kijiji. Are you looking for English lessons or guitar lessons or anything? Furniture, appliances, a TV, computers, cars, relationships. There's even some relationships, I think, on there. So anything you need will be on Kijiji. But Kijiji it's very popular, especially for second-hand things. Okay, so if you want to buy a used car, this is a great website. Now, there's another website called Craigslist.com. Now, this is especially popular in the US and in some parts of Canada. I think this is pretty popular as well. But in Calgary, where I live, Kijiji is much more popular and it's a much better website. Okay, but you can also look on this website if you want as well. Okay, so let's say we want to search for a car. We want to buy a cheap car. So what are we going to search for? Well, I think, maybe let's buy a 2004 vehicle. That should probably be pretty cheap. And a Ford Focus. Ford is usually a pretty cheap brand to buy. So let's search for 2004 Ford Focus. So we type that into the search bar on this website, and then we put the location, Calgary, Alberta. AB means Alberta. Every province in Canada has an abbreviation, a 2-letter abbreviation. In Alberta, it's AB. Okay, so then we get a lot of different results. Lots of cars. 2004 Ford Focus. This is one example, okay? 2004 Ford Focus, low kilometers, $2,200. Okay, so that's not too bad. $2,000, we can get a car, look, 151,000 kilometers. That's not too bad for a used vehicle, right? It's a manual transmission. Take note of that. Do you know how to drive a manual transmission? You need to use gears and a clutch. Okay. Most cars in Canada are actually automatic transmission. So you just put it into drive and then the car decides everything. Okay. But I think if you're coming from a different country, you probably already know how to drive manual transmission because most of the vehicles in Europe, Asia, South America, they're all manual. I don't know why in North America most of the vehicles are automatic. Who knows? Okay, so let's see what she says. Great little car. He or she, I don't know who's selling this. Great little car. Wish I could keep it, but I have no use for 2 vehicles. Currently insured and registered in Alberta. only 151,000 kilometers, sunroof, heated seats, AC, winter tires, new clutch 3 years ago. Okay, do you know what these are? Sunroof. A sunroof is when there's the glass, like where you can open the roof, just a little piece of the roof, and let in some fresh air. It's called a sunroof. Heated seats. In Canada, it gets very cold in the winter. You might like this option to have heated seats. AC. Okay, AC means air conditioning. In the summer, it can also get very hot here, so it's nice to have air conditioning. Okay, winter tires. That is a really big thing you should consider before buying a car, because Canadian winters are terrible and you probably should get winter tires before you drive. It makes a big difference, trust me. If you have winter tires on your car, it might save your life. Okay, now look at this. Currently insured and registered in Alberta. That is a good thing, because if it's not registered in Alberta, then that means it's from a different province. Okay, so if you're buying a vehicle, let's say from BC, and you're bringing it to Alberta, then you need to pay for an out-of-province inspection. An out-of-province inspection. That's going to cost you money. I don't know how much money. I think it's maybe like $100 or maybe it's more. Maybe it's a few $100s to get this inspection. So if it's just a local vehicle, then you don't have to go through that hassle. Okay, so BC means British Columbia and AB means Alberta. So let's say we want to buy this vehicle, or we want to look at it a little bit more. Okay, so then we click on this link here and it'll take us to a bigger page. Okay, there are more pictures. We can see more pictures of the car. We can see some different information here. So let's say you look at the information and the description, what the person has written about the vehicle. They say, this is a pretty good vehicle. I want to go look at it. Okay, so then you need to contact the seller. Then you would send them an email, or there probably will be their phone number here. So you can either call them or text them or send them a message here. And you want to schedule a test drive. Okay, so that's the next step. After you find a vehicle you like, you go look at it and you test drive it, right? So you could say, hi, I'm interested in your vehicle. Could I schedule a test drive? Okay, then they're going to respond and say, sure, which day works for you to come and test drive the vehicle, or something like that. Okay, then you take it for a test drive. If you like it, then you make an offer. An offer. You say, would you take $1,700? Okay, that's your offer. Then the owner is going to counter your offer. They're going to say, the lowest I'll go is $1,900. Okay, then if you like this price, you can buy it. If not, I mean, you can always look at more cars. You can look at however many cars you want. There's thousands of cars on Kijiji. So it might be good to look around a little bit so you find something you like. Okay, now I want you to take a look at this little thing in the corner. This says CarProof. CarProof. Do you know what a CarProof is? Okay, I think in some places it might be called a Carfax. It's the same thing. Basically what it is, it's an online service that tells you the history of the car. Okay, was the car in an accident? Was the car stolen? You want to know some of the background information before you buy the car so that you don't get into a really bad situation. Okay, so getting a CarProof is really easy. You just need the vehicle identification number. That's a number on the car somewhere. It might be on the door or on the dashboard or something. So you take that number and you go to this website and you put this number into the website and you have to pay about $50. to get a CarProof. Okay, and then it's going to give you the history of the vehicle. Now, here's a good strategy. You could ask the seller, do you have a CarProof for the vehicle? If they say no, then say this: I'll buy it for $1,900 if you provide a CarProof. Okay, then you're telling them it's their responsibility to prove that the car is good. Lots of sellers will do this. They'll provide a CarProof. Okay, because they know that you're worried. They know that you're worried about if it's been stolen or something, so they need to prove it. And most of the time, in my experience, I've bought several cars on Kijiji. Most of the time, they will be happy to pay for the CarProof. That way, if the car is stolen, then you haven't wasted $50, right? Because if you pay $50 for the CarProof and the car has been in accidents, or you realize, wow, I don't want to buy that car, then you wasted $50, right? So that's a bit of a tip for you. Okay, so after you realize I'm going to buy this car, then you need to fill out a bill of sale. Now, both people do this, the buyer and the seller. They sign 2 copies of this form, and each person keeps a copy. Now, where do you get a bill of sale? Well, you get it online. You print the form off from online. Now, I would recommend, before you buy a vehicle, or before you even start looking for a vehicle, you should Google buying a vehicle in Alberta or buying a vehicle in Ontario. Okay? Because in Canada, vehicle ownership is a provincial matter. Okay, so every province has different regulations, different laws around this. Okay, so it will vary. The forms might look different. It's all different. So I can't tell you, exactly, but this is a good thing to do. This will help prepare you for doing that. But basically, after you buy the car, then you're going to do 3 things. You need a license plate, you need registration, and insurance. Okay, now these 2 you can get at a registry office. A registry office. If you don't know where a registry office is, just Google Registry Office Calgary. Okay, my city is called Calgary. Wherever your city is, just Google Registry Office. Okay, and you'll find a registry office somewhere near you. Okay, so I think in Alberta, a license plate costs around $20, and then you need to pay for registration, which is about $80, I think. Now, this one is an annual fee. It's an annual cost, so you have to get this every year that you own a vehicle. So every August, the billings, it's in August. I don't know if it's for everyone or just for me, but every August I have to go to a registry office and I pay $80, and I get a little sticker that I have to put on my license plate that shows the year, 2018 or 2019. Okay, so if you don't have that little sticker on the license plate, the police are going to pull you over and say you're driving an unregistered vehicle. Here's a ticket, $200 or more. Okay, so you need to have registration, and that's something that's going to cost you every year. Okay, and then you need insurance. You need car insurance. It's mandatory here in Canada. Okay, now my insurance costs about $50, and I just get mine through my bank. Okay, so all the major banks in Canada sell car insurance. But you could also buy car insurance from an insurance company. Okay, so actually, vehicle ownership is not very expensive in Canada compared to other countries around the world. Okay, here is how much it costs. Okay, so my insurance is about $600 a year, and registration is about $80 a year. Now, gas depending on how much you drive. If you fill in your gas tank once every 2 weeks, it's going to cost you about $1,200 of gas. And then you might go for an oil change or any small repairs, hopefully not big repairs. That might be some extra money. But remember, we just bought a Ford Focus for less than $2,000. Now, we just have to pay this. So you can easily buy a car and own it for a year in Calgary for less than $5,000. If you have a $5,000 budget, you can buy a nice car and gas and everything will be fine. So that's much better than other places like Europe. Cars are expensive in Europe. Asia, cars are expensive. South America. North America is the cheapest place that I know of for cars. Okay, so that's basically how you buy a car here in Canada. First, you find a vehicle that you like. Then you go for a test drive. Then you make an offer. Then you buy the vehicle. Then you get insurance. Then you get the license plate. Then you get registration. And then you drive away with the car. Because when you buy the car, you can't just drive it away because you don't have a license plate. Okay, so you need to get a license plate. So this process here can be a little bit complicated. You almost need a friend to drive you to, I don't know, it's helpful if you have everything in your mind so that you can do it quickly, okay, and in business hours. Don't buy a car in the evening. Buy it in the day so you can go to the registry office, so you can call your bank to get insurance. Okay, so right after you buy the car, you pay money, you sign it, you call your bank and you say, I've just bought a car, or your car insurance company, and I need to insure it. Then they're going to ask you some questions. What model is it? What year is it? So then the insurance company is going to email you a document that's called a pink slip. Okay, you need to have that. You need to print it off and have that in your car at all times when you're driving. Okay, and then after you get insurance, then you're going to go to the registry office. You're going to get the license plate and the registration at the same time, and then you're going to go to the vehicle that you bought. You're going to put the license plate onto the vehicle, and then you're going to drive away with your brand new car. Okay, so there it is. If you have any more questions about this, please feel free to ask some questions down there. I'd be happy to help you as long as I know the answer. If it's here in Alberta, I probably know because I've bought several vehicles here in Alberta. Now, here are some good questions to ask before you buy a car from a private sale. Are you the first owner? Okay, that's a good question to ask. Are you the first owner? Or, how many people have owned this vehicle? It's usually a good thing if there's only been one owner. If the car goes from this place to that place to that place, it's sort of seen as a bad thing. Okay, so how many owners have there been with this vehicle? Do you have maintenance records? Okay, what are maintenance records? That's like records of, how the car has been taken care of. Oil changes, any repairs, any service that has been done to the vehicle. Okay, so that's nice if they have some maintenance records that you can look at, right? Remember in the vehicle, in the ad we saw, she said, or he said, clutch replaced 3 years ago. Okay, so you could ask them, do you have the document of getting the clutch? Do you have the records, the maintenance records of getting the clutch repaired? That would be a good question to ask. Okay, how many keys come with the car? That's also a very good question to ask. Are there any leaks? Okay, like an oil leak or any other fluid from the engine leaking. Now, you need to look at the car before you buy. You need to inspect it, right? Look under the car, see if there's anything leaking. Look at the engine, listen to it very carefully. Look at the inside of the vehicle. Have people smoked in the vehicle? Have there been pets in the vehicle? Okay, all those are very good things to consider before you buy the vehicle. Okay, so I want to know, what kind of car are you looking for? What kind of car do you want to buy? Let me know down there in the comments, and I'll see you over in the next episode of Mad English TV. Take care.